Hello world, Krista here with Books and Jams, and I am here today with my March book haul. I have 17 books to show you here today, and the grand total of what I spent is $2. That's amazing even to me. I had a few books that were sent to me. I went to a library book sale and I did a bit of an unhaul and took some more books to a used bookstore where they give you store credit. And so about 9 of these books came from that used bookstore. So ultimately they were free because I brought in used books and got some credit. So let me just jump right in to what I am hauling this month. I'll start first with the books that were sent to me. If you follow me on Instagram at all, you may recognize some of these because I think I did the unboxings in my Insta stories over the last couple weeks. First of all, I want to talk about The Secret Hum of a Daisy by Tracy Halser. This was sent to me by the lovely Lisa over at Books and Smiles. We were talking in an Instagram live show for middle grade March, and this is a book that she finished for middle grade March and really loved it. It sounded like one that would be really interesting to me. It's about a little girl whose mother dies and she is sent to live with her grandmother, but really doesn't feel at home there. And so this book is about her kind of finding a new description of the word home. What does home mean to her now that her mom is no longer a part of her life? I'm really excited to continue this book. I've just barely started it, but I will hopefully be finishing this before the end of March. The next 2 books were sent to me by the Fiction Guild, which is a group that I'm a part of for the Christian part of HarperCollins. And they sent me Steal Away Home, which is a novel by Billy Coffey. This novel is set in the South, and we follow Owen Cross, who is kind of caught between 2 worlds of the small town that he grew up in and then his big dreams of wanting to play in the major leagues for baseball. It's a tale of first love, and family dynamics are a part of it, and big dreams. It sounds like a wonderful kind of contemporary read that I would really enjoy. The other book that I received from the Fiction Guild is All Things Bright and Strange by James Markert. This book is a historical fiction set in a small town in South Carolina in the 1920s. There's a touch of historical fiction, but also some supernatural elements to it, and ultimately a fight between good and evil. I feel like this one is going to be right up my alley too, and that cover is gorgeous. I love the color. I also received a book from Bethany House to review, and that is The Heart's Appeal by Jennifer Delamere, and this is another historical fiction. This one is set in London in 1881, and we follow Julia Burney, who is a female doctor, which is not very common during that time. And so I'm looking forward to reading about what that experience might have been like. Also, I'm sure there's a bit of a romance in this one as well. This is the second of a series, but I'm hoping that I'm able to read it without feeling like I'm missing out on anything, because I'm not going to get the first one. But I'm thankful to Bethany House for sending me this, and I look forward to reading it and reviewing it for you. I was kind of disappointed by the library book sale that I went to. Typically, I come loaded with books out of library book sales, and this time I only left with 2. These were both only $1, and the first one that I got is Ted Dekker, The Sanctuary. I have read this book before, but I don't really remember it. I'm very excited that I found it for $1. I do have to take this library plastic off. I have to figure out how to do that as nicely as possible. This one is a bit of a thriller, and we follow a vigilante priest who is currently serving a 50-year prison sentence. I don't remember much about it, but I look forward to reading a lot of Ted Dekker's books again, and I'm slowly gathering all of them that I can. The other book I picked up at the library book sale is called Reader, I Married Him and this is edited by Tracy Chevalier, who is the author of The Girl with a Pearl Earring, among other things. This is a collection of 21 short stories that all revolve around the story of Jane Eyre. So there will be some retellings, some backstories, some imaginings. I'm very excited to read this. I just read Jane Eyre last year, and then last month, or just last week, finished up Jane Steele, which is the first kind of retelling of Jane Eyre that I've ever read. So I'm looking forward to reading more that are kind of along that vein. So that should be a lot of fun. Then I unhauled some books, as I mentioned before. So I'm just gonna put a clip in here of all the books that I unhauled and took to the bookstore to see how much they would give me for them. So take a look at the books that I got rid of off my shelves. So I have 25 books laid out here. These first 4 are books that I was given by the Fiction Guild, and I am just not interested in them. These 2 I already unhauled in my last unhaul, and the store didn't accept them at the time, so I'm hoping to try again. Then I have a few that are from my YA shelves. I got these from Book Outlet. I think this is going to be a massive series now, and I'm just not as interested as I once was. The covers are so pretty, but I think there's been a cover change, and once I heard what a big series it's going to be, I just am not that interested. I did read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, but I did not love it. And then I had gotten this at a library sale as well. They're in great condition, and I'd rather let somebody else have them that would enjoy them more than I did. Then I have a couple in this series by K.A. Tucker. I also found out that these are part of a large series, and I don't have any of the other ones. I didn't spend too much on them, but I don't think I'll ever read them. Same for these. This is part of the Lady of Ashes, Death at the Abbey, Stolen Remains, and the Morning Bells. And again, I just don't find myself ever wanting to pick them up, so I'm going to pass them along. The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd. Did not read it. Don't think I ever will. A Brandon Sanderson, Steelheart. I believe this is the first in his YA series or trilogy or something. We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach. I don't know what it's about. It's been on my shelves for a while. Never have the urge to pick it up, and I'm going to pass it along. These two I have in paperback now, At the Water's Edge and The Girl on the Train. I have read The Girl on the Train. It wasn't my favorite, but I do have it in paperback now. The same for At the Water's Edge. I just prefer to read in paperback. Even though these are great condition, lovely hardbacks, I'm going to pass them along. Okay, some good credit for them at the store. I have two nonfiction here, Wild by Cheryl Strayed and The Sociopath Next Door. Both of these I just don't think that I will ever read, to be honest. I know some people love Wild and others really don't love it. I just don't find myself drawn to memoirs very much, so I'm passing it on. And then these three I picked up at the last library sale, which was fill a bag for $5, and my bag wasn't full, so I added a few to take back to the store. So I have those three to take to the store and get some credit for. Once we got to the store, they had a bin outside that was a free bin. I picked up 2 books out of that free bin, so they were free. I got John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. I haven't read this since high school. I would like to reread this someday. Also from that free bin, I picked up The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. I know that I have read this quite a long time ago, and would be interested in reading it again. Now I can, whenever I get that urge. I did receive about $35 from turning in my books, and I picked up 9 more, and all of these were free. I made sure that my total was under that amount. Very excited about all of these. First of all, my brother was with me, and I picked up one for him, and that is Hood by Stephen Lawhead, and this is a thriller, not a thriller. This is a fantasy retelling of the story of Robin Hood. And this is in really nice condition. I think it's a trilogy, and this is the first one in that trilogy. And he has read book 1 and 2 and wants to reread them before diving into book 3. Another one that I got is How to Find Love in a Bookshop by Veronica Henry. I have been seeing this on Instagram or Bookstagram recently, and it just sounds like the perfect way to find love for this single gal. So I thought it would be a cute contemporary to read in this upcoming spring and summer. So I'm looking forward to that one. There was a table in the teen section that was buy 2, get 1 free, and it counted even though I was using credit, so that's fantastic. So I picked up Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. I loved this book. I have already read it. Between Shades of Grey is my favorite Ruta Sepetys, but I did also really enjoy this one. So I am really happy that I own it now and would definitely consider reading this one again in the future. In this, we follow 4 different perspectives and 3 of them are refugees, and 1 of them is a Nazi youth, and all of them end up on this refugee ship called the Wilhelm Gustloff, which ended up sinking. And it's a little known story of World War II that doesn't get studied that often and that I was totally unaware of before reading this book. It's very heartbreaking, and I am very glad that I found this. The second book that I got from that table is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I haven't read any Morgan Matson, but I do have a number of them now. I again think that this will be a fun YA contemporary to read come summertime. It just has a very summery feel to it. I think this is about a young girl whose father is a politician and she is a dog walker, but her summer plans kind of don't end up going the way she expects them to. Unexpected everything. Hence the title. Yeah, I just feel like this will be kind of light, fluffy read for summertime. And the third one that I got for free from that table, which brings me into the middle grade books, which is the rest of the ones that I have here, is Wolf Hollow by Lauren Wolk. In this book, we are in a small Pennsylvania town, and there is a young girl who is dealing with a bully in her class. When this bully starts picking on a veteran who's dealing with a lot of stuff, this girl, what's her name? Annabelle. This girl, Annabelle, decides that she's going to stand up to this bully and kind of stand up for what's right and stand up for this veteran that's being picked on and use her words in a positive way. It just sounds like it will be a wonderful little read. I grabbed The Lions of Little Rock, which I also have out from the library right here. Boop. But this is a book that was recommended by Lisa from Books and Smiles again. And she recommended this on my BookTuber Recommends collab video that I made, and I immediately was drawn to it. It's another historical fiction. This is set in Little Rock, Arkansas in the 1950s, when things are pretty tense with race relations situations, and these two little girls become good friends in the midst of that. It just sounds like a beautiful story of friendship, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The next one is one that I recently finished, and it is another Catherine Applegate, and it's The One and Only Ivan. I love Catherine Applegate. This is another winner from this past month, and it's told from the perspective of Ivan, who is a gorilla that is part of this mall that's like a zoo. It's just a beautiful story told from the gorilla's perspective. It was really fun and heartwarming, as Catherine Applegate does so well. So I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad to own it now. Two more. Next, I grabbed the third book from the Land of Stories series. I have the first one right here, which I haven't read yet, but this was only $1. Can you see that? $1. And it's in beautiful condition. Just barely any curling edges there. Some sticker action to take care of. Unfortunately, they did not have a used copy of book 2. They only had new copies, so I didn't pick up book 2 yet. But I will keep my eyes out for it there. I think there's like 5 or 6 so far in this series. I'm not sure that I'll own all of them, at least not before I start reading them. But I've heard good things, not only from Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand, who recommended that one, but also from, I think, Adrian at Shared Inspired Journey Dream, also just read the first one and really liked it as well. So I know it's something that I am going to enjoy. It's about these kids who end up traveling into fairy tale stories. Just sounds like a lot of fun. The final book that I picked up from Second and Charles is another one that I've heard some people talking a lot about in the live shows that I've done with Katie over on Instagram, and that is Savvy by Ingrid Law. And this is a Newbery Honor book. And I think this is about a young girl who is about to turn 13, and 13 is the age when she discovers her savvy or her magical ability. I've heard such wonderful things about it from the people who've been chatting in the live show discussions, and so when I saw that this was available, how could I resist? So there you have it. Those are the 17 books being added to my collection in the month of March. I'm thrilled that all of those books only cost me $2. So that's not a bad deal if you ask me. I'm sticking with my little reward system of getting $1 every time I read a book from my shelves. I believe as of right now I still have $13, which is fantastic because there are 2 more library sales coming up in April, and I'm expecting them to be a lot better than the one that I went to last weekend. So that is it for my haul today. I would love to chat with you in the comments below if you have read any of these, or if you think I should pick any of them up right away, or about anything else. You know I love chatting with you down in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will be talking to you in another video very soon. Bye!